Hi, I'm Soleil from ECC, and I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about the polyvagal theory and its impact on trauma, which we talk a lot about in our course. So I first want to give you a couple of the current conflicts around the theory. And one thing we talk a lot about is sort of the colonized nature of the mental health systems, that pathology and the medical model have been at the center of these industries, which really centers this idea that what's wrong with you, what's wrong with your body, if we can find the exact mechanism, then we can, give it a shock or give it a med or, do something to fix it. And, there's been this whole influx of, folks doing vagal toning and trying to do different kind of brain stimuli exercises. And so, one of the biggest critiques is this medicalization of pathology related to the polyvagal theory, as well as this overemphasis on it is this exact structure that is this thing that is the mechanism of what's happening in trauma. And it was really beautiful and nice. When I first learned about it, I don't know what's it been. It was 2011 when it came out. So, it's been many years that I've been teaching it and working within it. And it felt like this, this magic idea. Here's the thing we can actually do to get better. Here's a strategy. Here's an understanding of our nervous system, which was really nice. And it gave us tools. One of the things that I'm grateful for the theory is it was one of the tools used in helping me understand somatics and how our body is actually so highly intertwined into our psychological well-being and functioning. It wasn't just polyvagal, lots of other theories do that and support that. Somatic experiencing being one of them, and EMDR being another, and many others that talk about this. The trauma is a body response. But I think, going back to the critique, there's this place where we've been able to look at the polyvagal theory is a theory. It is a guy came up with these ideas. It is not talked about in neuroscience. It is not talked about in, medical physiology texts, because those structures don't actually exist and have never been found and tested to exist in the way that Porges has theorized. And in some ways it's elitist and speciest, to not have a better word for it, because it is founded on this idea, right, that we have this, ventral vagal system that is more sophisticated and is myelinated and that we've evolved basically as humans to be better at social interaction to gauge safety with other people. And that safety cue, that ventral vagal system that can help us regulate and ground and connect through co-regulation, is this magic thing that humans have developed. And what we know is that might not be true, is one of the points, right? Instead, there's this idea that lots of animals do this. Co-regulation is a part of a lot of our familial community, ancestral, mammalian history, right? That we all have mechanisms in our brain that are drawn to connection, drawn towards safety, drawn towards co-regulation, right? So that's one thing. And the second thing is the idea that that there is this simplistic, these structures exist in this way, and it's just our nervous system is endlessly more complex. So how do we have space for, it may not be these structures, it may not be these specific, the ventral vagal and the dorsal vagal and this linear ladder of regulation, and instead, we have a really complicated system that is always trying to learn how to self-regulate and how to find equilibrium and balance, and sometimes does better than others, does better than other times. And what we know is there's so many factors, right? Beyond your vagus nerve, there's so many other factors like intergenerational, cultural, other somatic factors, cognitive factors, emotional factors that influence how your nervous system responds to different stimuli. And so our ability to have space and acceptance of there being different kinds of responses and different ways that response can look, and having compassion and curiosity for our bodies around it. There's times where maybe that what feels like activation or dissociation is actually your system going through its process of regulation. Maybe what looks like hyperarousal is actually a safe setting for you, right? So moving out of there being one way to be, again, moving out of pathology, and moving out of there being these structures mean this thing, actually is liberating, because it gives us more space to be in. Our nervous systems are endlessly complex. And also, one of the things that still helps with regulation and management and getting to balance emotionally and physically is somatics. So regardless of the beliefs around the polyvagal theory, around these structures, we still know that nervous system regulation can happen through a co-regulation with other humans who are regulated, and through somatic interventions, pressure, movement, rhythm, tapping, vocal toning, lots of other strategies, right? So lots of things that still should be used and still can be used in the context of regulation and well-being. So for yourself, do you know your patterns? Are you watching them with curiosity and compassion? And are you giving yourself tools to move towards a regulated, balanced state with other people in community as well? It doesn't matter if we use the polyvagal theory or not. Those are still the same premises that still apply, and we still honor NECC in terms of the work that we do, that we want everyone to help have the support by clinicians and by people in their lives to move towards calm, balanced, regulated being. Thanks for listening.